Hello and welcome to Should I Cook It, Sarah? Today we are making these. Alright, so let's get cooking. Alright, chuck your butter in a bowl. Whoops, wrong mixing attachment. With your icing sugar, vanilla essence and salt. And cream them together. Then add in your egg and mix again. If you can leave the butter to become room temperature beforehand, they'll mix in very well. However, if you're impatient like me, then it will separate like this, but it doesn't matter. Just add in a little bit of your flour and it'll come together again. Then just mix in the rest of your flour in 2 or 3 lots. I just do that because if you mix it in all at once, it tends to puff out and explode out of the Mixmaster. A little bit messy. Now gather the dough all together and wrap it in some cling film. Set it aside in the fridge for about 10 to 20 minutes. Now while you're waiting for that, preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Now once your biscuit dough is chilled, take it out of the fridge and line a baking tray with some baking paper. I've got a whole bunch of different size heart-shaped cookie cutters here, so spread some flour on a clean surface and unwrap your biscuit dough, and then roll it out to 1/2 centimeter thickness or 1/4 inch. I like to spread a little flour on my rolling pin too, just to stop the dough sticking to it. Now grab a large heart cookie cutter and cut out one for the base. And pop that straight on the tray. Cut out a second one for the top, but use a smaller one in the centre to remove it so there's a little window to look through. And then I like to use the centre as a second smaller biscuit and cut a little heart out of that too for a little window. You can really do whatever you want. These are just the designs that I find quite cute, but if you've got different sizes you can have a bit of fun with it. Just make sure that you have enough bottom and top pieces in matching sizes. So there we go. Now bake them in the oven for 10 minutes. When they come out of the oven, they should have barely changed colour at all. Leave them to cool mostly on the tray before transferring them to a wire rack. You want to make sure they cool down completely before icing them, or the icing will just melt and run everywhere. Icing time, put your butter in a bowl and sift in about half of your icing sugar. Then mix them together until smooth. After that, add in your vanilla essence and your milk and mix again. Then sift in the rest of your icing sugar and mix well one more time. Cut the top off a piping bag. Just a little tip, when you put the nozzle in, stuff a bit of the piping bag inside and this will stop all the icing coming out when you fill up the piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, of course you can just use a Ziploc bag and cut the corner off that. Now just fold the edge over and fill it up with the icing. By the way, I'm using a small to medium size circle nozzle. Once you've filled it up, pull the nozzle down and then push all the icing down to the bottom and give the icing bag a little twist to stop it coming out the top. Now pipe a layer of icing into the middle of the biscuits and then smooth them over with the back of a knife. Then grab some raspberries and place them at intervals around the edge of the biscuit. Pipe some icing in between the raspberries and then fill the centre with jam. And then place the lid on top. Do this for the rest of the large biscuits. Now for the smaller ones that can't fit the raspberry edge, I start them out the same way with the icing on the bottom and the jam on top. Then I just do a little edge of icing and put the top on so that the jam doesn't spill out. And then just sprinkle some of the glitter on the edges of the small biscuits and on the top of the big ones. These medium-sized biscuits are just big enough to fit 3 little raspberries on them, as well as a little window of jam to see through the cutout. And there we go, just look at those. Don't tell me you wouldn't want to get these as a gift. Ta-da! And so that's how you do it. Happy Valentine's Day! This is probably my favourite shortbread recipe. As always, if you want to see the written links, they are in the blog, which I'll put the links to below. I really love these biscuits and they keep quite well out of the fridge, but definitely keep them in the fridge if you can, just because they're always going to last a little bit better that way. I'm not going to lie, these are probably going to be very not graceful to eat and squish everywhere, but I don't care. So you have the biscuit with the icing, with the strawberry jam, and then you have raspberries. For me, like, I feel like pretty much every good dessert has fresh fruit in it, and so because raspberries are so cheap at the moment, I was like, I'm gonna use them. Now with this jam, I actually put a couple of drops of red food dye in just to make it that really bright red colour. Normally I wouldn't bother, but I just thought, oh, it's Valentine's Day, like, red is meant to be the colour of love. Ooh, Valentine's Day nails. Oh, I've got raspberry juice on my apron. I love this apron so much I don't actually want to get it dirty. But look, a red spot. Alright, well thank you for watching, and should you cook it? Yes. The answer is always yes. Bye!